many people talk about mindset like it is something magical, as if all you need is a positive thought and suddenly life becomes easy. Mindset is not about pretending everything is fine. Every person, no matter where they come from, faces moments when they feel small, confused, or lost. The difference between someone who grows and someone who stays stuck is not luck, talent, or even intelligence. It is the small decision to pay attention to what is happening inside their mind. And sometimes that story is the only difference between moving forward or giving up. A mindset is like a quiet voice that never leaves you. Some people grow up with a loud inner critic. Others have a soft, supportive inner coach. But no matter what voice you start with, you can train it. You can teach your mind to fight for you instead of against you. It doesn't happen in one day. It comes from small choices repeated over and over. When you think you cannot do something, but you try anyway. When you feel insecure but still take the step. These small choices build a new inner voice over time, a voice that becomes stronger than fear. Most people think fear is the enemy, but fear is not the problem. Fear only becomes a problem when you let it control your actions. Fear is a natural signal from your brain saying, "This is unfamiliar." It means you are stepping into something new or important. Instead of fighting fear, you can learn to walk with it. You can say, "I'm scared, but I'm not stopping." This simple sentence is one of the strongest tools you can ever use. It gives you power over something that used to freeze you. And the more you do this, the easier it becomes to move forward even when you feel uncomfortable. A growth mindset is not about constant motivation. No one stays motivated all the time. You won't wake up every morning with fire in your heart. Some days you feel heavy, tired, distracted, or simply uninterested. That is normal. Growth mindset is about taking action even on the days when motivation is missing. It is about discipline, small efforts, and understanding that progress often looks like slow steps that no one celebrates. The world will only notice you when the results are visible. But you will know how long it took to reach that moment. You will know about the silent battles, the lonely nights, and the thoughts you had to fight in your own head. And that is what builds real strength. Your mind learns from what you repeat. If you repeat doubt, your mind becomes an expert at doubting. If you repeat excuses, your mind will look for excuses even when none exist. But if you repeat effort, even small effort, your mind learns to push. If you repeat courage, even tiny courage, your mind learns to be brave. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to practice the version of yourself you want to become. Every time you act like that version, even a little, you are training your identity. You are teaching your brain a new pattern, and your brain listens. One mistake many people make is comparing their journey to someone else's. They see people online doing great things and they think, "Why am I not there yet?" But what you don't see is the years of work, confusion, mistakes, rejection, and self-doubt that person went through. Growth mindset means focusing on your own path, not someone else's finish line. You don't need to move fast. You just need to move. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be better than yesterday. Life becomes lighter when you stop competing with everyone and start competing with who you used to be. Another thing that shapes mindset is the way you talk to yourself. When something goes wrong, your mind can say, "I failed because I'm not good enough." Or it can say, "I failed because I'm learning something I've never done before." These two sentences create two completely different futures. The first one shuts every door. The second one opens the possibility for growth. Self-talk is not something people teach in school, but it should be. It is one of the most important skills in life. Your inner voice can break you or build you, depending on how you train it. Some people think a strong mindset means you never feel weak. But real strength is the opposite. A strong mindset means you allow yourself to feel weak, but you do not let weakness decide your destiny. You can cry, rest, feel lost, or take a break. None of these things make you a failure, they make you human. What matters is what you do after the emotion passes. What matters is the decision you make when you stand up again. You do not need to hide your emotions to be strong. You need to manage them in a way that keeps you growing. There are many moments in life when your mind will try to convince you to stop. It will say you are too late, too tired, too behind, or too inexperienced. These thoughts can feel true because they arrive with emotion, and emotion makes everything feel louder. But a big part of building a strong mindset is learning to separate feelings from facts. Feeling unprepared does not mean you are unprepared. Feeling scared does not mean danger is real. Feeling behind does not mean you cannot move forward. When you learn to look at your thoughts from a distance, you give yourself the power to choose which ones deserve your attention. Not every thought in your mind is worth believing. You can acknowledge them without obeying them. Your mind is designed to protect you, not to grow you. That is why it often chooses comfort over challenge. Comfort feels safe, predictable, and familiar. Growth feels uncertain and uncomfortable. When you decide to change your life, your brain does not immediately celebrate. It questions, it resists, it worries about everything that might go wrong. But this resistance is not a sign that you should quit. It is a sign that you are entering a new level of your life. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, your brain needs time to adjust. It needs time to understand that this new space is not dangerous. If you keep going long enough, the uncomfortable becomes normal, and what once felt impossible becomes something you can do without thinking. People often wait for the perfect moment to start something important. They wait until they feel confident, motivated, or ready. But waiting for the perfect moment is the fastest way to stay stuck. Confidence doesn't show up before action. It shows up after you try. Motivation does not come before effort. It comes from seeing yourself take the smallest step. Readiness is not a feeling. Readiness is a decision. When you start even while feeling uncertain, you teach your mind that you don't need perfect conditions to move forward. You show yourself that progress is something you create, not something you wait for. One of the strongest parts of a growth mindset is understanding that mistakes are not final. A mistake is not proof that you are incapable. It is proof that you are trying. Mistakes offer information, not identity. If something goes wrong, you can examine it. You can look at what worked and what didn't. You can adjust your approach. This is how learning happens. People who grow quickly are not smarter. They are simply more willing to fail and learn. They understand that every skill requires being bad at it first. No one starts as an expert. No one avoids discomfort forever. Every strong person you admire has a long history of errors, setbacks, and embarrassing attempts that no one sees. What makes them different is that they kept improving instead of quitting. A powerful mindset also comes from understanding the difference between pressure and responsibility. Pressure is when you believe you must succeed immediately. Responsibility is when you understand you can grow into success step by step. Pressure crushes, responsibility empowers. When you stop forcing yourself to be perfect and allow yourself to learn, you make room for improvement. You give yourself the space to understand, practice, and refine your skills. Growth is not a race, it is a practice. And it is completely okay to learn at your own pace. Another important element of mindset is the environment you choose. Even the strongest mindset can weaken if surrounded by negativity, doubt, or constant distraction. You don't need a perfect environment, but you do need a supportive one. This can mean protecting your time, limiting certain influences, reducing toxic conversations, or creating small systems that help you stay focused. Sometimes the biggest changes come from small adjustments like setting a daily routine, organizing your space, or avoiding people who drain your energy. Your mind grows best in a place where your goals are respected and your efforts are not mocked. But real self-belief means trusting that you will keep going even if you fail, even if it takes time, even if people doubt you, and even if you doubt yourself. Self-belief is a quiet strength, not loud confidence. It is the decision to stand up again after every setback. When you build this kind of belief, you become unstoppable because you are no longer controlled by fear of failure. You might fall, but you will not stay down. You might struggle, but you will not stop. This is the mindset that creates long-term growth. It is important to remember that your progress will not always be visible. There will be days when you don't see results even though you are trying your best. These hidden days matter more than you think. Growth often happens quietly, internally, before it shows externally. The skills you build, the patience you learn, the discipline you practice, and the mental strength you develop will eventually reveal themselves. Trusting this invisible process is one of the hardest parts of a growth mindset. You must keep going even when you are not sure you are moving. You must have faith in your long-term efforts, not your short-term feelings. There will come a time when you look back and realize that most of your growth did not happen during the easy moments. It happened during the days when you felt tired but kept trying, during the nights when you doubted yourself but still continued, and during the moments when everything felt slow but you refused to walk away from your goals. Growth is built in silence. It is built in the small choices you make when no one is watching, when no one celebrates you, and when no one understands how hard you are working. They may not feel exciting, but they shape you in ways that become visible later when people start to wonder how you changed so much. Your mind needs proof before it believes in something new. That is why you must show yourself small wins. Every time you complete a simple task you promised yourself, your mind learns that you can trust your own word. When you keep your promises, even small ones, your self-respect grows. When self-respect grows, discipline becomes easier. When discipline becomes easier, confidence follows. You do not need giant breakthroughs to change your life. You only need consistent actions that tell your mind over and over again, I am becoming someone stronger. This identity shift is what creates long-term transformation. You become the kind of person who does not quit on themselves anymore. Some people wait for others to push them, inspire them, or guide them. But the truth is that most of your journey will require self-direction. No one else can feel your dreams the way you feel them. No one else knows the exact reason you want to grow, or the exact pain you want to move away from. This is why your motivation must come from inside. It must come from your willingness to build a life that feels meaningful to you, not to anyone else. You do not owe the world a perfect version of yourself. You only owe yourself the chance to become who you were meant to be. When you focus on your own path, you stop needing external approval. You start moving because the movement itself makes you proud. A strong mindset also means understanding that growth is not linear. Some days you will move forward quickly, and some days you will take only one small step. Some days you will feel powerful, and some days you will feel unsure. This is normal. What matters is the direction you choose, not the speed. Even slow progress is still progress. Even tiny steps move you forward. You will not lose your potential because you took a break. You are allowed to rest, breathe, and regain your clarity. Strength is not the absence of setbacks. Strength is the ability to continue despite them. You will also meet people who don't understand your journey. Some will doubt you, some will criticize you, and some will question your decisions. This can hurt, especially when the doubt comes from people you care about. But you must remember that their doubts are not your destiny. People judge based on their own limitations, not yours. What they cannot imagine for themselves, they assume is impossible for you too. But your future does not depend on their imagination. It depends on your persistence, your faith, and your willingness to keep moving, even when the world does not applaud you. Let their doubt be noise, not direction. Let your actions be louder than their opinions. Your mindset becomes stronger each time you choose growth over comfort. Every time you rewrite an old belief, every time you challenge a fear, every time you say I can try instead of I can't, you are building a new version of yourself. Over time, these choices compound. They create a mental foundation that cannot be easily broken. A foundation that supports you during challenges and guides you toward new opportunities. You begin to trust your ability to figure things out. You begin to see problems as puzzles, not obstacles. You develop resilience that stays with you no matter where you go or what you face. And eventually, you reach a moment when you realize you are no longer the same person you once were. You realize that the fears that used to control you now feel smaller. The doubts that used to hold you back no longer have the same power. The challenges that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. This shift does not happen all at once. It happens slowly through thousands of small decisions, each one shaping your identity, your habits, and your future. It is in this moment that you understand the true value of a strong mindset. It does not just help you achieve goals. It changes the way you experience life. And this is the closing message. Your growth will not always feel dramatic, but it will always matter. Your effort will not always be visible, but it will always count. You do not need to be extraordinary to change your life. You only need to be committed. The person you want to become is built from the choices you make today, not from the dreams you save for tomorrow. Keep going, keep learning, and keep showing up for yourself. One day, you will thank yourself for not giving up during the moments that felt the hardest. Your future self is waiting, and every step you take brings you closer to them. Keep moving forward.